Welcome to Beer Right Back, the Lounge Beer Podcast. Today, we're doing Sierra Nevada beers. I tried to avoid their big name ones. I didn't get a pale ale or a torpedo, but we're going to explore some of their off the beaten path beers.
So we've done torpedo and the pale before, right? Okay.
I don't think we've done any of these.
This first one's a pretty big name.
Right.
This one smells amazing. That's my first impression of it.
Have you never had this beer before?
No, I mean I have. I think. What is it?
This is Otra Vez. This is the new Otra Vez from Sierra Nevada. This is the old one. What's the difference between the new one and the old one? Do you remember?
It's hardly new anymore, is it? It's kind of...
It's been 2 years.
You're right.
So okay. Well, new enough for government work, eh?
That's right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is good.
Oh yeah. Really
I really like this beer.
really strong on the lime.
Mm-hmm.
First impression.
It's a perfect beach beer. Perfect creek beer. Anything light.
Oh yeah.
You don't want it too heavy. This is excellent. This is first up at bat for me.
It's good because it's sour without being super sour, which is perfect for that situation. My edge that I'm going to slice this on is when I'm sitting at home, I want something bigger than this. But
That's fair.
this is a fantastic creek beer, summer beer, lawnmower beer, whatever. You're outside and it's hot, you want one of these.
Yeah, I was telling Nick earlier on the car ride here. I was like, man, like for the past month or so, I've been in like a really big like lager mood,
Lighter.
Yeah, and this is hitting that spot like bullseye.
Right. Yeah. The sour is just enough to kind of, I think if it wasn't for the sour flavor in this, it would be kind of a pissy lager flavor. The sour is enough to kind of punch you, and then it's a light kind of back end. It just kind of like falls off gradually.
Yeah, those two are kind of greater than the sum of their parts.
Yeah, definitely. I really liked old Otra Vez.
That's the constant thing that you said. Every time you've had a new Otra Vez,
yeah.
you're like, man, I miss that old shit.
And by this point, I almost like kind of forget what the old one was like, just because it's been so long. But I just remember like that was one that I would happily enjoy at home. It was not strictly a creek beer. It was just a kind of all the time beer. I'll stop beating the dead horse now. But
I mean, ultimately, there's not too much to say about this. I could drink probably 5 of these very easily.
Right.
It doesn't really taste like beer, but the lime is perfect.
Oh,
I really like the beer that tastes like this is a Pacifico with a lime wedge in it.
Oh.
And so this is convenient because I don't have to buy the limes. I just buy the 6-pack of beer and I'm on my way.
Right.
Now, Pacifico is probably a good bit cheaper, but still.
As a random tangent, you could like grill up some shrimp and then drink this beer with the shrimp, and it'd be like putting limes on the shrimp, and it'd pair perfectly with
Just pour the beer on the shrimp.
beer battered, but with this beer.
beer pour over shrimp.
I have a rating in mind already.
Oh shit! Let me do actual work instead of just drinking the beer.
That's right, Sean. This isn't a fun podcast. This is a very serious podcast where we do serious things.
Drink your beer.
Stop
son.
smiling.
Anti-fun zone. There's no fun allowed in the bar.
Get your elbows off the table.
God damn it, Sean. Who raised you?
Horses.
Shout out to Mrs. and Mr. McGee.
Oh, that was a reference to a Clutch song. I'm not talking shit about my parents.
Okay, all right.
There's a Clutch song called "Raised by Horses."
Is that on the same album as the one Clutch song that I know?
I'm not sure what the one Clutch song is.
The Clutch song.
100011
No.
10101.
No.
That's like one of their biggest.
Oh.
Is it Bang Bang Bang?
No, it's the one.
knows,
The
Fun
regulator.
The regulator.
Yeah, I think so.
Swinging pendulum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
Different album. It's
Okay.
on Jam Room. It's just like they were just like fucking around in a studio for a while and
Oh, that's fun.
has some demos of. Anyways, Clutch is cool. Go check out Clutch.
That's like Ween.
Yeah.
Like that experimental shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clutch had a collab with New Belgium a few years ago, and they made a beer with New Belgium.
Really?
It was a dark sour. That was the one we had that big bomber of like a month ago, 2 months ago. Anyways,
Sure.
it was not as good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
It was less good than it was fresh because it's like 4 years old by now. But that was a great beer. I really liked that, and that was right as I was getting way into clutch, so that was a cool little thing. For Otra Vez, I would give this a 60.
Wow.
I was going to give it a 65.
Jeremy reevaluating his.
The number I had before any of this,
Which is the number we
Yeah,
want.
that's-
I was going to give this at 75.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Jeremy's a fan.
I mean, I'm a fan. I would
Brings
take
us
this
to,
over most creek beers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which-
for sure.
I mean, there's a lot of situations for that. If you live in Chicago, maybe you don't you don't have as many creek type situations. Maybe if you're out on Lake Michigan, but it's pretty cold.
Brings us to a 67 or 66 or something.
Yeah, about that. I'm gonna write down 67.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's like one of the biggest deviations you've had.
Yeah, really.
I was sitting
Well, we've
there.
had a 10-pointer before, huh?
Yes.
Oh.
Several 10
Oh,
pointers.
yeah. Okay.
But over a beer that we've all had multiple times, like hundreds of times.
Well, I was sitting here and I'm like, oh, man, like, yeah, 70s. They're probably going to do 70s. 75 seems pretty, like...
Get fucked, Jeremy.
We're enjoying these beers today on our brand new Beer Right Back coasters. Speaking of which, we have some lovely merch in our Teespring store, just updated with our brand new logo. Thank you, Mary McGee, for producing our logos for us. If you want to have some Beer Right Back emblazoned T-shirts, mugs, towels, posters, or other paraphernalia, check out our Teespring store at teespring.com/stores/beer-right-back. That's the fastest I've ever done that.
That was
and I'm not going to
textbook.
try that after
Yeah.
any more beers.
Yeah.
that is downhill only.
Yeah, these coasters are awesome. But like my favorite is the sticker that looks like it belongs on a beer bottle.
Right.
Like, that one's so well
The
designed.
label.
So are you guys filleting ourselves
Yeah.
enough for the
Yeah.
boys upstairs? They told us we had to slurp pretty hard today. So.
Oh man, I'm gonna be slurping here. This beer.
Oh boy, Jeremy. All right.
Got him. Hey, you can't
This
cut
is
that
a-
one out.
This is an LGBTQ friendly podcast. What do we have next?
We've got the Sidecar Orange IPA ale brewed with orange peel.
Another citrus themed beer.
Yeah, we're starting light today.
Yeah, figured we'd go into the heavier stuff later.
Didn't want to give me the Lagunitas back, did you?
I had the Lagunitas.
No, I had the mason jar, didn't I?
No, you had this lumberyard one.
Oh, fuck me.
No, he had a
I'm pretty sure I had
he
the
had a jar.
Lagunitas.
He had a jar.
No, I had the jar.
What?
I remember drinking
Mom,
out of the jar.
it's my
No,
turn
but-
with the jar.
The jar is nice. This like jar, mason jar.
Hard to portion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
extremely difficult. I feel like I gave myself about half of that Otra Vez, and I didn't want to do that with every
See,
beer we had
I had
so
the
far.
same problem.
Oh, I
Yes,
understand.
the last-
It's
last
a
time.
much broader, shorter vessel.
Ask not for a lighter load, but broader
For,
vessels.
for
Beautiful.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
I'm not really getting the what was it, orange peel?
I get some orange. Not a
Okay.
lot.
Mm.
It's kind of like muted.
Yeah.
It's like a ghost of an orange.
Someone like shipped oranges next to
Yeah.
the beer that
they were in the adjacent shipping container.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that joke about
LaCroix.
LaCroix? It's like someone screamed the word apple or orange across the cubicles to you.
Hint of lime.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. It's
Yeah.
pleasant.
Well,
it's okay.
It's more like the now that I have like a second sip, it reminds me more of like of the peel or like the rind of the
Yeah.
orange.
I
Yes,
actually
it's
get a
orange
big
peel.
Yeah,
Oh,
I get a pretty
that's what they-
significant
okay.
orange peel flavor.
Yeah.
I never thought I would be at a point in my life where I could differentiate between orange and orange peel flavors in beer, but
We're here
today's
now.
a big day for me.
One small step for mankind. One giant leap for Sean's ego.
Orange peel notes.
Oh.
Respect the terminology.
Oh, sorry.
Overtones,
Tones is the preferred nomenclature.
undertones.
Tones is the preferred nomenclature, dude.
For people listening at home, Sean's pinky is elevated at a 90-degree angle from the rest of his fingers.
I'm quoting Lebowski, bro.
I hate the Eagles, bro.
this is fine.
Yep.
This isn't knocking any socks off.
But would I kick it out of bed for eating crackers? That's another question.
I might.
I might as well,
Yeah.
actually. It's okay. It's orange IPA. That's it.
Yeah, that's good enough.
But
Not amazing.
my issue with it is it doesn't taste like a great IPA underneath the orange. It just tastes like an IPA. And regardless of if it's from Sierra Nevada or not, it's not great. But especially coming from Sierra Nevada, I kind of have a high expectation of hoppy beers. This is kind of this is what I imagine a new brewery's first orangey IPA tastes like.
Well, remember how we were like, these brewers are being like, this is a double IPA, and then you drink it and like, nah, I mean, it's just an IPA.
Mm-hmm.
This is like that situation, but for an IPA, so it's like a step down again. I've just like barely any hoppy flavor, a moderate amount of orange peel.
Are you going into these beers are you grading them at a higher scale because they are Sierra Nevada and they should be good because they're Sierra Nevada?
I'm not.
You're
but
not
this is kind of disappointing from Sierra Nevada.
Sure.
Yeah.
Definitely worse than the Otra Vez.
By a considerable margin. Not that I'm trying to pollute your minds with my own rating, but
You're like Emperor Palpatine, and I am like Anakin.
no.
No, you die! That trailer, though.
Yeah.
The ending. Everything else, I could give or take.
Yeah.
But
it looks like the other two.
it looks like the best one yet, probably, because there's...
Yeah,
like Palpatine is an actually good villain instead of...
And you feel like it's going to like kind of wrap up some... I've had a lot of like cliffhangers, or not cliffhangers. I've had a lot of like plot holes that I've been waiting to resolve. And I'm like, either that's going to stay that way and they're the laziest writers in the world, or this is all going to come together at some point and be a big deal, and here's their chance to make it a big deal.
I agree.
We'll see if they execute on it. See if they execute Order 66.
As good as the Star Wars trailer was, how about that Sonic trailer?
Oh my god!
Gotta go fast. Chili dogs.
Did you see that oatmeal comic that it's like a CEO directing an art director?
What if he was wearing furry blue pajamas?
Yeah, I want his body to look like he's wearing. Was it Jim Sterling that said
Sonic the Manhog?
He's terrifying.
I maintain that
shit.
he looks better than I expected him to, because
Really?
when I saw the poster of just his hairy fucking legs, I was like, this is going to be the most disgusting animated creature ever made. And I was actually like, I feel like the things that get shared around the internet are like these screen grabs where he looks particularly horrendous.
I mean, I watched the trailer. He looks bad.
Right, but I think he looks better than I really expected him to, given the hairy legs. I was like, this is going to be an abomination. And it was surprisingly like, that's
Restrained.
that's recognizably Sonic at least. But then I see like these fan-made like Photoshop edits.
They're like,
and they look great.
It's
and it's
perfect.
the same hairy fucking legs. And it's just, they like fix his face.
It's his eyes.
The eyes need to be improved.
Certainly.
Yeah.
The whole thing could be improved,
Yeah.
but the eyes are like a focal point of sadness.
oh god, jeez.
I don't want to dwell on Sonic for too long, but did you guys see that Reddit post that was like Sonic Blast releases an EMP in downtown Seattle, which would knock out like this many square miles of Seattle's electrical grid, and there are this many hospitals in that area, and every day there are this many children born who require neonatal
Wow.
care. Therefore, Sonic killed like 500 babies. And then somebody commented back, and they were like, "This is Dr. Eggman's backstory. His wife was about to give birth to his son, and they were killed in the hospital. So now he's seeking vengeance on Sonic." And I was like, "That's at least twice as compelling as the real story that they're going to tell in this
Probably,
movie."
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Anyway.
I give this.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect segue.
Yeah.
50.
I was gonna go to 60.
50.
Okay.
53.
Why am I rating so high today?
Had a good day.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay.
This is a den of sarcasm and horrible fucking feelings, and we're all just depressed. But maybe you aren't.
Okay.
Maybe you're
I'm
the ray of sunshine.
light
Jeremy,
of shining darkness.
You just smoke a J before you came in, and
No,
Jeremy's
I
feeling
was
good in the neighborhood.
digging through all that garbage. Got that
Hell yeah,
dopamine
dude.
rush. It's good exercise.
Well, what were we doing today, Jeremy?
Well, I'll save it for another time.
All right, fine.
Me and Nick are going down to the local college campus because this is the week before the next week in which everyone must pack up and leave, and people are just throwing away stuff.
Perfectly good shit.
Perfectly good stuff. That's just you'd pay like $15 for this kind of thing. Like I don't even. We got like a Fortnite like Nerf gun. I never in my life would I have bought that, but now we own one. So yeah, there's just so much like goods. Even like consumables. Like people are throwing away yarn. I don't particularly knit, but I know people who do, and that gets expensive.
Make a trash yarn scarf.
Yeah, 100% recycled.
I feel like that's the perfect opportunity because I feel like either you go there and you find something really cool and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna keep this. Like I've been wanting one of these. This is great. Or you're like, this is like really stupid and I don't need it, but it's kind of funny, so I'm putting it in the bar. Yeah. the lounge has just become our like dumping grounds for like weird, stupid shit.
Moderately interesting things.
Yeah.
All of the garbage that we find throughout refuse.
Yeah, right next to me, I found like those little like debating flags, or like the UN flags for Austria. So I have the Austrian flag next to me right now, like just because we found it.
You look like you're from Austria too.
Oh yeah, and
dark hair,
long flowing dark hair, beautiful chiseled chin. I mean,
a glowing man bodice. Anyway, up next we have Hunter IPA, brewed with farm distilled hop oil. So I assume we're going to get some dank notes out of this.
I'm gonna stop smacking my lips into the
Please
microphone.
cut that one out. I feel like having the triple dank IPA like that time at Majestic is gonna make me like, this is like moderately dank, and most people are gonna be like, Jesus, this is like.
Did you just like put out your weed into this?
Yeah.
Smells good.
Cheers.
Ooh. Boom.
Yeah. Okay, that's dank.
Just a little bit.
There's a big hop flavor. I'm not fond at all of the aftertaste.
It's kind of
I get kind of a weird like chemically flavor aftertaste.
maybe that's the dank that they're trying to
I
infuse
feel like that's
into
the dank. That's what Sean is talking about.
This is like they brewed it with skunk weed, you know, just like
Some
They
Ohio weed.
they robbed some teenager, dug through his backpack and like scraped the weed dust off the bottom of his backpack, and then just shoved it into
It was
the beer.
shitty weed to begin with, and then it's like been at the bottom of his backpack for 2.5 years.
Yeah, really stale. Yeah, you don't want that.
Making this beer sound great.
I know. It's better than the last one, for sure.
It's a better IPA than the last one, at least. Mm-hmm. Like it has more going for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's how I felt about the last one. This one is kind of like it's like kind of it's not just like being mediocre. It's also like going back a few steps.
Okay.
I almost feel like the dank flavor isn't like that great. I can't even really like taste hops in this all that often.
Really?
Like, that much. Like it's just kind of like
Your taste buds are dead.
Are weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you eat like a fresh hot pocket right before this?
Maybe.
It was
I had the
seared
garlic
off
bread.
while
That's probably throwing me off. I'm damn.
Damn those pizza rolls.
But like, yeah, I don't know.
Mom!
I guess
I need more pizza rolls. Sorry,
it's
Jeremy.
no, that's great. What was I saying? Some of the pizza rolls? I don't know. It's like it's not that I can't taste the hops. It's just that they're there, but like I don't really think about them. It's just kind of like the mediocre dank thing that I'm thinking about.
I've never been clear on why hop oil is a thing. Like why they like squeeze these hops to get the liquid out of them, and then they distill the water out of it, and then they can just add that into the beer during the boil. I don't know why.
It's concentrated.
But so what? So it took the same amount of hops to do it, right? And it's not like
Might as well put the hops into the pot, right?
But maybe the distilling of the oil produces different like chemicals in like there might be something else. There might be something that you're extracting that way that you don't normally get by putting the whole hop head into the boil.
But that's exactly what I mean. I don't know why.
I don't know why either,
Yeah.
but I think there are many reasons why potentially.
If Sierra Nevada's doing it, there's a reason to do it, right?
Yeah.
If it was some little small no-name brewery, maybe they just don't know what they're doing. But if anyone knows how to work with hops, it's Sierra Nevada. So
The 3 armchair brewers that we are probably don't know quite as much.
Sierra Nevada doesn't know what they're doing. Hop oil sucks, man.
You should get hemp oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Was that a good?
Is that the Austrian accent coming out?
I
He sounded like a troll or something.
I was trying to do like 50-year-old like like beach dude that's just like, you got any like weed on you? Like,
Can you lube up my back?
Cowabunga, dude.
Thanks, brah. Gotta ride those waves.
This is lit. Any of you guys got a gram? I can.
I require a whole gram. I cannot
Damn.
get buzzed on anything less than a gram.
So, anyways, this beer. Are we rating?
We can rate.
Shit.
Because
Sure.
I did the last one at 50,
Yes.
55.
I agree. I concur with the 55.
I like this marginally better than the last one.
Yeah, I'd also give this a 55, but it'd be a step down from the last one.
Right.
So yeah.
Same rating for a different reason.
Yeah.
These last 2 beers have struck me as something that New Belgium would make.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're kind of like
it's a good analogy. Yeah.
they're safe.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening in them that's bold or exciting or new or
yeah.
there's no innovation in either of these beers.
Which me, there's a I'm gonna word this very carefully. There's a narrow margin between New Belgium and Sierra Nevada, and that is like the really big step in quality to me. Where Sierra Nevada is just over that line, and New Belgium is just on the other side of it. Where New Belgium, it feels like every beer always falls short by something. Sierra Nevada always feels like it's just enough. Like they don't make huge beers, right? They don't make anything ridiculous, but everything they make is like this knows exactly what it wants to be, and it is exactly that. And it's not big, but it's like it hits the target.
Good enough.
Yeah. These feel like they're one step backwards. They're on the New Belgium side of the line.
The idea that I had though is I think we've all had a couple of beers in our lifetime. We're not, we haven't had a million, but we've had a couple. There is such a thing as like being like Roger Ebert and rating all of these different movies that are weird and like out there, these art vogue films really high because he's seen every single film available. But if you don't drink that much beer and you just want an IPA, maybe this shit is exactly what you want.
This is exactly an IPA. This is not
That's true.
something IPA. This is an IPA.
Yeah, if I just like, I don't know, if I put my shoes in like someone who isn't into craft beer as much, and we were like, wait, what? I don't know. But like we, and I was like, sometimes I just like drink on like the weekends or whatever. Like this would actually kind of be a lot different from like New Belgium and things of that nature. They're just like, even just like Bud Light or something like, again, going back to the like, oh, beer can taste like this kind of thing.
Yeah, if you go from Bud Light to this is a serious step up.
Yeah. So maybe it's kind of where our flag in the race is.
Right.
Like,
I understand. Yeah.
I would not give this to somebody who was drinking Bud Light. I think this would be an awful. Because I think my impression is people who drink shitty beer generally do not want to go straight into an IPA. Because chances are either they've had a friend who did the exact same thing and gave them an IPA and they don't like it, so they went back to Bud Light, or they've never had an IPA before, which is a big and relatively offensive flavor. I think IPAs are a beer for somebody who likes craft beer. And when somebody is like transitioning into craft beer, I avoid IPAs like the plague, and I avoid big stouts like the plague because those are both really big flavors. And
well, maybe then like in my analogy, like they're drinking like Blue Moon, White Belgians.
So then the last beer, the beer with the orange peel flavor, that's perfect.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's inoffensive.
I would start him on Otra Vez, because Otra Vez is if there was ever I didn't know beer could taste like this beer, it would be Otra Vez, because
Right.
it tastes like a margarita. So that is like,
That's fair.
to me, that's the like floodgates opening of like, oh my god, like there's like craft beer isn't just IPAs. Not all beers taste like Budweiser.
Yeah.
And then you move them into whatever. I don't know. Who am I?
You've seen the meme of the last thing an IPA sees before it dies. And it's just like this group of college-aged white men with beards. Like,
Wax
oh man,
mustaches.
yeah, like, oh man, this is really hoppy. Like, this is really strong, man.
Oh man, thank God we're not like that, right?
I was doing this way before hipsters.
Doesn't that make you a hipster?
I did this before it was cool.
Maybe one day we'll just be like 30 years from now we'll be like so jaded and we'll just like be craving like the unique shit. We'll just like get into like mixed drinks and be like, oh, all right, well,
Make me a gin and tonic with a pig's eyeball in it.
yeah, anything with wormwood in it, please.
Yeah, it's got a wormwood afterbirth in it.
A really, really strong afterbirth flavor.
Soy sauce.
What is that from? The afterbirth?
It's Michael
Office.
Scott. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a really oaky afterbirth.
Yeah.
I really hope that at some point we get one of those beers, because that seems like a unique flavor, right?
Yeah, give that one a 90. Ever
Disgusting, but unique.
Yeah.
95.
At least I wasn't bored.
Yeah.
At least I didn't have a kid.
It was a struggle the whole way.
Next up, we got the Brut IPA. Brut.
We drank like 3 of
I
these
think
in a
we.
row.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think we each had about a half a dozen of these
Yeah.
a month ago.
couple weeks ago. I don't know.
No, not probably going to be any surprises here, but I
Oh,
remember liking it.
Yeah. Well, actually, I remember after like my second one, I was like, yeah, this third one isn't doing it for me.
Yeah. The brute flavor really does wear off after
Yeah.
80 ounces.
There we go, gents.
Cheers.
Gentlemen.
Cheers.
Yeah, that first sip is kind of unique.
Is that brute flavor died a little bit? I don't
Since
get
you
it as
got
much
it?
as I had last time when we had them before.
Yeah. This is a little bit older.
Yeah.
A little more subdued.
2 months older. Yeah, I feel like the brute flavor has not survived very well, but this is a light, crisp IPA.
There's something in the aftertaste that is still
Like springy.
that flavor,
Yeah,
and I enjoy that. And I remember liking when it was way stronger.
right.
So I kind of want to rate it based off of
Known.
the known facts. Like this is significantly less flavor.
Yeah.
But I know it can be better.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know why. Like I just don't have the data for this, but I'm enjoying this a lot more than when I did like
Okay.
3 weeks ago. I literally can't explain why, but I just am like
Here we are having a good time. So.
Yeah, so yeah. I'm just too positive.
I like that. That's not a huge IPA. That's a pretty mild. It's a kind of a
Yeah.
tame hop flavor.
Yeah.
But that I find that I've been enjoying brute IPAs. This little trend of doing it's like the brute and the Brett IPAs are the big thing right now and kind of dying off anymore. But
yeah, they're kind of on the tail end.
right.
When they get picked up by Sierra Nevada and New Belgium, they're kind of at the tail end of their life cycle, right?
Yeah.
So
I think they're not big flavors, but I think like the subdued IPA isms in this beer with like sort of the springtime flavors at the back end are kind of like it's like a really nice smooth transition, and it's not like offensive as an IPA kind of is supposed to be. I mean, like going out like, you know, this is an IPA, it's not bitter enough kind of, but like it's enjoyable.
I agree.
nothing more to say, Sean.
Well, that's it. It's
Yep.
a
Case
it's a
closed.
good- it is what it is. It's tasty, it's easy drinking, light, crisp IPA. I could drink about a half a dozen of these.
IPA light.
You would drink 6 of these?
I wouldn't, not if I had anything to do later, but
I would not drink 6 of these.
I'd get bored after like my second one.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
2 or 3 max, and I'm done.
yeah, I don't know. Well,
I'm
I'm
begging to switch. This isn't interesting enough. It can't hold my attention for that long.
So I'm not trying to say I would like. I'm like, oh my god, I want 5 more of these right now. I'm just saying if
that was all you had.
yeah, if somebody again, back to the mythical world where people hand me free beers. If somebody handed me 6 of these, I'd drink them happily. These are good.
That's fine.
Yeah, you don't have to like.
You're entitled to that opinion, Sean.
You don't have to work for it. Is kind of what you're saying, right?
My choice would not be to have 6 of these in a row.
Okay, all right.
But if they were giving them away,
Yeah.
shit, I'd take 6 of these. I don't know.
Well, what does that mean in terms of one
That's
out
a
of
pretty
100?
low bar.
Yeah. I wouldn't take 6 free PBRs.
Like below a 40 for you.
I would take a free PBR, and then I would go. You know what? My time is worth more than this.
There's only so much like stomach volume, and
Yeah.
don't want
Man,
to
where are
fill
we
it.
going to have PBR on the podcast so I can give it a 95 and the rest of you can give it a 20?
And then it'll be a straight 60ers.
It's got to be in the cheap beers, right?
Yeah, cheap
beer
beers.
episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the quintessential
Yeah.
cheap beer. There's nothing else that old that is a cheap beer.
So here we might have to do two tiers of these. We might have to do like cheap beers and then college beers, because I feel like cheap beers are like Budweiser and Michelob and stuff, but I feel like college beers are like Keystone Light and PBR and Rolling Rock.
You make a good point.
So
There are 2 different classes to that.
Yeah, we'll have to explore these.
Yeah.
I was like it was like a Korean restaurant in town, and there's like this whole like plethora of like cheap Asian beers, and that's like its own category too. Like
Right.
We could do that.
I could put 6,
Fucking A.
maybe even 8 cheap Asian
Hell
beers
yeah.
together. So
Perfect.
They'll all taste the same.
Rice.
They come out of the same factory. They just put them in 6 different cans.
I'm prepared with a rating.
yeah,
60.
Yep.
60.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Nothing. Again, not going to knock any socks off, but it's a pretty good Brut IPA. It's enjoyable. To me, there's no like glaring off flavors.
Errors.
It's just kind of it's not much of anything, but that means there's no real bad in it either.
Yeah,
So,
but it holds its own.
yeah.
Yeah. Every beer that they make, we should also just do it with nitro, just so that's like I know the difference, and then I can kind of like
Compare
equally. Yeah, kind of like triangulate a middle ground or
Yeah,
something. I don't know.
I saw not super recently, but a few months ago, I saw somebody doing a nitro IPA, and I found that very interesting because it seems like it's almost always darker beers. And then we had
Yeah.
that nitro amber or brown or whatever from Modern Times.
Yeah.
That was very good. But yeah, this is the first time I'd ever seen a nitro IPA. I found that kind of an unusual combination. And I didn't try it, but now looking back on it, I think I would have liked to.
Who made it?
I have no idea.
Okay.
What do we do? Oh,
Number 5.
don't do me like that, Nick.
Next up, we've got the Bigfoot barley wine style ale,
Yeah.
which is really out of character for Sierra Nevada to brew a barley wine, even if it's not a full barley wine.
I don't know if I agree with that. I associate barley wines with big IPAs, and Sierra Nevada, I guess, again, doesn't really do any huge IPAs, but
Barley wines strike me as sort of a micro brewery kind of beer.
oh no,
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
Who makes a barley wine all year round?
I don't know. Sierra Nevada. Oh, is that seasonal? I don't know. Fuck it. I don't know. I mean, even Dark Sky doesn't do a season like a year round. I mean, they don't do a year round anything. But I don't fucking know. I think barley wines are a big deal for bigger breweries.
I think they're starting to come up on the scale of notoriety. It's sort of like a potential trend that could peak.
It's
here
like
at some
it's
point.
like the Brett thing. Like, you know, things kind of start off in the avant-garde and they're kind of weird, and then like soon they're like, hey, this like obscure weird shit becomes more and more mainstream. I don't know, and then finally we're here where Sierra Nevada is doing a barley wine style because everyone has developed a taste for it.
So Sierra Nevada helped pioneer the American barley wine a long time ago.
Oh,
Okay,
So they've been-
I'm an asshole.
They've been in this game for a long time. I'm not saying this isn't a game for small brewers. I'm not. This has nothing to do with anything we've been talking about. But
Yeah.
I have a funny story relating to this particular beer.
I would love
I
to
think we
hear
should
it,
Drink,
but I
first.
would love to drink this beer.
Gentlemen.
Cheers.
man.
Ooh.
That really is a barley wine style ale, where it's like not quite a full barley wine. It's a little milder, but I love barley wines.
This is perfect for me. I don't quite love a full barley wine. I like it a little bit mellowed down. I don't like the extreme heights of flavor that pure barley wine gets to. This is amazing.
But still, like this is like kind of a roller coaster between like the first and the middle and like the last
Right.
kind of flavors in your mouth.
So
like,
it really is like a huge bitter flavor up
Yeah.
up front.
no,
Up nose.
you should have just owned
you're
it.
close.
You should have owned it and just said like create a whole new category of notes.
and then all 8 of our listeners would be like, "Oh, I guess that's the terminology."
And then we would spread misinformation into the world. Congratulations, Sean.
So anyways, so I feel like this has a really big hoppy bitter note right up front, and then goes into a maltier middle, and finally into like this kind of sweet, almost like caramely
Yeah.
back end.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would that's like the flavor that is the most predominant other than the malt and the barley wine.
Right.
I gotta the caramel for me. I have to like stop for like a full like 5 seconds and then I'm like, hey, there's the.
You're
there's
right.
The, yeah.
It's a delayed thing.
Yeah.
What a beer. So
Yeah.
so the story is I was looking through the beer judge certification program. Like they have their BJCP approved beer styles. And there's normal barley wines, there's like the English barley wines. And then there's recently as in like the 90s, there was the American barley wines, which are like almost all American flavors of beer, bitter, and like they're like bigger versions of the English counterparts.
You're right.
Because how can American let Britain have
Rule.
the bigger beers?
No.
Right. So Sierra Nevada was like one of the first brewers to kind of create this definite difference.
Oh.
And they submitted this beer. I believe it's this beer, or it was one of their barley wines. They submitted to this lab to be tested for like IBU and stuff and like different chemicals. And the lab responded to Sierra Nevada and said, "Your beer is too bitter." To which Sierra Nevada responded,
Thanks.
Thank you."
Oh, you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
I shit you not, that is in the beer judge certification pamphlet for American barley wines. It has that story in the description.
Damn.
I think that's very typical of Americans in general
I was gonna
and in the brewing industry.
with the
Typical-
bitterness. Yeah.
Typical of Americans, typical of barley wines, and typical of Sierra Nevada.
Right.
But
yeah.
it's within like the big IPA. What was it like? Age, epoch. The last episode we were talking about.
the era.
Yeah, yeah. America is kind of
The Mesozoic / IPA.
yeah. If you were to like look at rocks 500
The
years,
layers.
yeah. There's a lot of like
the sand on the bottom of your shoe
Has,
that
like,
you
a
collect.
lot of IPA residue in this sandstone here. And, but yeah,
This is great.
yeah, I love this beer.
This is really good.
Th-
I would only have one of it. I would have 12 ounces or a pint, and I'd be done. But this is really good.
This really is like the easier drinking barley wine. This is the barley wine that you can kind of just have whenever. I like barley wines. I have to be in a mood to have and really enjoy a barley wine, and it's like
Are you in that mood today?
I am, but what I'm getting at is like
okay.
I wouldn't go to a crowded bar and order a barley wine, right? It's kind of it's a beer that I want to sit down in a comfortable chair and like sip and think about.
Have a cigar.
It's a beer that you have to like process for a while.
Well,
And this seems to be like an accessible version of that.
in many ways, like this is sort of like not offensive in in almost all respects. Like some of the barley wines I've had are kind of like, boom. I'd stop at like a 10-ounce glass because I enjoyed it, but too much. Like,
and 10 ounces is kind of the preferred serving, I think, for them, because a lot of them barley wines are typically like 12 or 15% or something like that. So they're huge beers.
And so this is like a really nice, I guess, sort of like middle ground, or like crash course into that whole.
Yeah, this is the beer you try to know if you like barley wine.
Yeah.
What are the numbers on this?
This is 9.6 ABV, and I don't think the IBU really matters. So,
Oh, it doesn't say.
who fucking has IBU on their can?
God.
No, I want to make a point here. If you are a brewer listening to this episode,
Thank you. First,
yes, we love you, and obviously we're gonna suck your dick whenever we can. But secondly, the things that you need to have on your bottle at all times, no matter what market you're selling in, is ABV, IBU, hops used. Is that it?
Final gravity. I'm kidding.
I would take Final Gravity.
Okay.
Final gravity is like a cherry on top.
Yeah, really. That's just to make me happy.
Yeah. If you can consistently have those three things, ABV, IBU, and hops used, you're golden. Nobody's going to complain. But Jesus Christ, would it fucking kill you to put IBU on the fucking...
That's like you have to calculate that, right? Here, Sierra Nevada did 90.
And yet, it is not...
Why isn't... Finishing gravity, 6 degrees Plato. Why isn't that... Like, you did the math.
The font size for ABV is like 4. Why don't you just fucking add to the line?
There is white space on that.
There's a whole 4 font size like line of space here. Oh my god! God damn it!
I don't understand.
This is a 0. This is death.
Maybe it's like the suits upstairs kind of thing. It's just kind of like, I mean, the FDA doesn't require you to put IBU on it.
Modern Times does. They put their IBU and their final gravity on the can.
I mean, but like, if you don't need to, like, why? Like, I'm in the camp of like they should do it, but like from like a purely non-brewing marketing standpoint, it's just like, what's the point?
It's
like,
wasted text.
Yeah, and it's just like that might actually scare people away if they say like 90 IBU. Like, Jesus Christ, I'm not going to drink this.
There, I think, is the biggest reason of all.
I didn't think about that.
Is not to scare off the newbie boobies.
The Sububarus.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
I love this fucking beer.
This is very good.
Yeah.
I'm like excited for every sip of this.
Yeah.
What I've also noticed that usually like after like 5 or 6 sips or whatever, it's like it kind of like your tongue gets used to it, and it's just kind of like, okay, like whatever at this point.
I'm done.
But the every sip for this beer has been
there's a new
whole world of.
There's a like as it warms up and as you get used to the last sip, it's like there's a new flavor every time.
I'm starting to get like kind of like the boozy aftertaste out of this now that
Do you guys get grape? I always get like kind of a weird like grape oil flavor out of barley wines. Or maybe it's not grape oil, but that's the only word I have to associate with it. But there's like, I get some kind of like a fruitier, I don't know, some weird fucking.
I don't understand how grape is a flavor in anything. I don't understand how there's grape artificial flavoring. Have you ever had a grape before? It's fucking water in a skin.
And sugar.
Sure.
But
there's no grape flavor. It's not like watermelon or orange or whatever.
I think when people say it tastes like grape, they're describing it tasting like artificial grape.
Okay.
Which
is
artificial grape has its own flavor.
Yeah.
Which is somebody pointed that out to me like an asshole, because now this is all I can think about. Somebody pointed out that like no artificial fruit flavor tastes anything like the actual fruit.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I mean, like, sure, like grape doesn't really taste like grape, but everything else does. Like watermelon tastes like watermelon. And then I had watermelon and I'm like, this is nothing like Jolly Ranchers. And like orange is like nothing like orange, and lemon is nothing like lemon, and it's like it blew my fucking mind.
The like banana flavored candy, like as a kid, like that's when I first noticed that. I was like, this is nothing like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's because we've talked about this before. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
if it was on the podcast or not, but banana flavor specifically is the flavor of the old
the extinct
species
banana.
of banana.
And I don't know how much
That
I believe that.
I believe it.
Oh, okay.
I am a sheep. I believe it because where else? Banana
Where do they get
flavoring.
orange? Where do they get grape?
The thing is, that banana flavoring existed at the time when that banana species existed, and I would like to believe. I think it's like a cool thing. It's like a cool
That
factoid.
would be neat.
It would be neat.
If it was true.
And you know what? Nobody living, hardly anybody living, knows if it's true.
Right.
So why not just?
Sure.
Who cares?
Yeah.
It's not the fucking UN.
Just perpetuate it.
Yeah.
Just perpetuate lies as if they were fact.
Wow.
What could possibly go
All right.
wrong?
You know how
Well,
it's like the
See, it
This
starts
podcast
with banana
is-
flavoring, Nick, and then it turns into the Mexicans are rapists, and you know,
holy shit.
Yeah. That's who I am.
No,
Trump. You're
note,
right.
note to the fucking editor. Jesus fucking
take
Christ.
out Sean's fake racism.
I'm not cutting that out. I don't cut out Sean making a fool of himself. That's just like a standard rule.
You keep thinking I'll learn from it, but I don't.
Yep. And we'll see. Maybe episode 100, you'll be much tamer.
That's like,
I doubt it, though, somehow.
yeah. Can we rate this beer? I
We
like
can.
this
Yeah.
beer.
Yes.
I have a number.
Jeremy.
85.
Whoa. Fucking A. I was going to say 75.
I'm between a 90 and an 85.
A 90 and an 85?
I love this beer.
Holy
this is an 85.
shit.
This is, yeah.
So what does that come out to?
82.
Wow. So this goes on the shelf. And now we have fucking Bigfoot barley wine ale and E's for elderberry. We've added another to the echelons
yeah.
of. It's really good. I rated it low. I don't like barley wines in general, so. But it's a really good beer, and it.
Oh, fuck yeah.
If this was put in any other can, if this was in a Founder's can, you wouldn't fucking blink once.
Right.
This is amazing that a brewery as large as Sierra Nevada can make something this complex and nuanced.
Consistently. They make this every year.
Yeah.
So, good
Damn.
on Sierra Nevada.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Last beer of the 6-pack
Yeah.
is Sierra Nevada's Stout. That's all it is. West Coast style Stout.
Stout.
That's a dark beer.
I remember watching a 60 Minutes thing about people who were like beginning to use the internet to make these like micro stock exchanges, and it was a big deal because they were like really changing the game. And I'm pretty sure now that's like how 90% of it works.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I was like, "Whoa, they're using technology," and people were like, "They shouldn't be allowed to do that. They're making too much money. We're too slow."
We're still
And-
using fax machines to send our transfer requests over.
Yeah. Let's stop talking about stocks and
yeah,
start talking about
please.
beer. Gentlemen,
Cheers.
Cheers.
There's a little something.
I like that. That is a really good combination of the bitter, nasty tar flavor of stouts and the like super sugary sweet milkshake stouts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is like dead in the center. It's bitter, but then it has this
And-
like nice, it like lightens up
Yeah.
as it sits on your tongue.
I was gonna say like it almost like becomes a nitro halfway through
like a
taking
milk
sip.
stout or something.
Yeah.
It's
oh,
like,
yeah.
it like really like brightens up.
I don't know
yeah.
if I go that far.
But like a milk, you know,
Yeah.
it like
Yeah,
gets
not
sweet.
a-
Emulates. Yes.
Right. When the extremes are dark bitter stout and creamy milk stout, this kind of starts at one and goes towards the other.
It's kind of like this hollow middle that I don't like.
Yeah,
I've noticed that too.
it really is like right up front.
Hits
and
your
then-
tongue and then at
after.
the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing in the middle, which is kind of disappointing, but it's a pretty good mass-produced stout.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially I so often associate Sierra Nevada with IPAs.
I mean, how could you not?
Right. And
Pale Ale, Torpedo, like, what else do you need?
it's like they make a porter as well, and I don't think I've ever had it.
We had that 6-pack of Sierra Nevada in that brown. What was that?
That was porter.
That was porter.
That was their porter.
And
that was good.
That was really good.
Yeah.
And it was on sale for like $1 for a single bottle.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
And we had it, and we were like, we should buy like a lot more of
You should
this.
buy stock in this.
And then it was gone.
Yeah.
So I feel the same about this.
This is a good stout. Yeah, that was like again, like this is not revolutionizing stouts. That did not revolutionize porters, but it was like you drank it and you're like, damn, like that's a good porter. Mm-hmm. This is exactly that.
This is like Anchor Porter. This is like right there.
There is one thing about this that like I don't know when I drink it, it just like there's like in the middle maybe kind of near the end there's kind of like this carbonated like tingle on my tongue. Yeah, and it's just kind of like it's like the one last thing that like reminds you like Sierra Nevada mix IPAs. Like it just kind of like hits you in the tongue and you're kind of like, oh, it's like a little bit of like a.
I get the same sensation. I'm not as bothered by it as you are.
Would you rather have this as a nitro?
I still like it. I don't think it'd make much of a difference.
But
like,
do you think you would rather have this as a nitro than CO2?
That's hard. It's hard to say. Probably, maybe. I don't know. I kind of like this as a CO2. It's not a bad thing to me, or at least not like much of a bad thing. I'm just mentioning it.
I like the burn on my tongue because it reminds me I'm alive.
Wow.
As the dad in Calvin and Hobbes says, it builds moral fiber.
It builds character.
Yeah.
I do get like I can't see it when I hold it right up to the light.
Yeah, it's really opaque.
But I get this like looking a particular way through my glass. I see this like really red color to this.
Really?
Well, I really do. It's like
Dun,
a
dun,
particular
dun, dun, dun.
part
Oh,
of
yeah,
my glass.
dude.
I see that.
The edges.
Yeah.
It is less dark than most stouts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kind of like middle ground kind of reminds me of like a brown ale or something like that.
Kind of a little. I get a coffee flavor, but I get a coffee flavor out of all of these.
Oh
But
my
I
God.
get a noticeable coffee kind of middle.
I was listening to the episode with Modern Times. Modern Times. The Bedrock.
Mm-hmm.
I really want one of those again. Like listening to that episode, I'm like, damn, that was good. Like, Jesus Christ.
I'm deciding between two.
Oh,
2 ratings.
Yeah. Trying to land
0 and 100. Yeah.
Keep
that's
thinking
fair.
one of these is gonna. What I'm gonna take a sip and I'm gonna go. Yep, it's this one. Yep. 80.
wow.
80.
I was gonna say 75. I can see why you gave it an 80 though.
Same, 75.
I was between 75 and 80.
Okay.
And that last sip, I don't know what it was, but there was just something that like, bam, like
Man, yeah.
that's a great stout.
Yeah, and it's pretty mass produced, which is kind of a feat. Like to make something that good, but it's mass produced.
Especially from a brewery that is known for their IPAs.
Yeah.
And their kind of lighter fare, more hoppy fare, I guess I should say.
This really is like the stout. Like this is no direction from center. This is like it does exactly stout
that's
really
the
well.
damn name, right? Like
Right.
they just
It's
call
like
it stout.
Cumbre's beer.
Right.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is beer.
Beer. It's no variation of it. It is just
Beer.
yeah. And
I have a special place in my heart for those kind of beers. This one and La Cumbre's beer, it's just like, man, you like nailed the shit out of this.
Right.
Like, it's exactly it.
I feel like, especially from our experience trying to brew beer, I feel like it's easy to make a beer and go, this was supposed to be a porter, but this is now a chocolate caramel porter because we fucked up and it kind of tastes like caramel now.
Yeah.
And I think to hit exactly stout or exactly porter or exactly whatever is its own challenge because you
Incredibly hard.
have to just refine your recipe continuously.
Yeah.
It's a razor's edge.
I'm noticing like the after taste is like really enjoyable. I usually don't get that out of a stout. Usually it's kind of like either like once it's gone down your throat, it's over.
It's over.
Or what like the after taste of a stout is like, oh man,
You need to brush your teeth.
yeah. But this is a really enjoyable. You've sat on this for like at least 10-15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's not like not blowing me out of the water. It's just one of the things I've noticed.
Well, that does it for the 6-pack. We've gone through 6 of Sierra Nevada's beers. We're going to take a little break here, and then we're going to come back and get you with some beer news. And then we've got a little something special lined up. Not quite a mystery beer, but it's something really great. I hope you enjoy it. This has been Beer Right Back, the Lounge Beer Podcast.
Want to see how our ratings stack up? Check us out on Untapped and Beer Advocate. Like listening to Beer Right Back? Get our t-shirts and gear at teespring.com/stores/beer-right-back.
Welcome back to Beer Right Back, the Lounge Beer Podcast. We finished our 6-pack, and now we are turning into our beer news segment. Sean, what do you got?
Drink a beer at Castle Danger, plant a tree along the North Shore. This is in Minnesota. This was posted on Duluth's Channel 3 on April 28th, 2019. A special fundraiser is brewing at the Castle Danger Brewery in Two Harbors. Those who have recently purchased a seasonal white pine IPA at the brewery will have contributed to the planting of thousands of white pine seedlings along the North Shore. I think that was a cool little...
What type of white pine?
Channel 3 did not go into detail. They did not post the Latin species name.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a neat little thing. They're like planting trees for every beer they get or something like that. Organizers say it's not only a good way to attract customers, but it also educates the public about the ever-drifting population of white pine trees in that area.
So there's a fungus that lives among us. It's an exotic fungus, and it attacks only white pine species of tree. And it was brought into the East Coast via saplings from nurseries in Europe. And so it's sort of like spread across the East Coast, and it's killed a lot of white pine species. And now it's like kind of heading into our neck of the woods. It's in New Mexico. It's not in Arizona yet. It might be in the White Mountains, like on the border with New Mexico.
Kind of imminently.
Yeah, so this is a really good program because they're trying to, I don't know, I presume that the brewery does not have any long-term management plans for these trees, so these trees might be dead anyways, but it's like a good gesture, and it's pointed in the right direction.
Right. Nice of them to. Suit alleging Hawaiian beer made in Portsmouth nets $4.7 million. This is from Seacoast Online. Thank you, Seacoast Online. Posted April 26th, 2019. You guys know Kona Brewing Company, these bottles?
The Jimmy Buffett of beers.
Yeah, so they kind of they present themselves as these Hawaiian beers, and they do have a brewery in Hawaii.
In Kona, yeah.
But local, when you get them stateside, they're made in U.S.
Yes.
They are not made in Hawaii and shipped because that would be fucking insane. But I've always been kind of bothered by this too. Number one, they're a AB InBev property, I believe, or a Miller Coors property.
Yes,
one of the two.
They are.
But they present themselves in such a Hawaiian theme, and then they're made here that it's like, the fuck are you? Like, why are you doing this just for marketing? Like, just admit whatever. Anyways, Portsmouth, a class action lawsuit against the Craft Brew Alliance, alleging beer advertising as Hawaiian was made on the mainland, including Portsmouth, will be settling for at least $4.7 million, according to a filing with the Federal Securities and Exchange Commission. The suit was filed 3 years ago by Sarah Saloni, Theodore Broomfield, and Simone Zimmer, who said that thousands of others could be plaintiffs if they too bought, quote, falsely advertised beer, including Longboard, Island Lager, Big Wave, Golden Ale, Fire Rock, Pale Ale, Wailua Wheat Ale, Hanalei Island IPA, and Castaway IPA from the Kona Brew line.
So it went
through.
won.
The plaintiff, yeah. Right. So settling for $4.7 million.
I mean, I sort of don't understand that. Even if it's brewed on the mainland, like, it would be ridiculous to try to brew all of your beer in the Hawaiian Islands and then ship them.
Idiotic.
That's ridiculous.
Well, one of the past brewing news has been Newcastle has finally decided to stop doing that because it's saving them a bunch of money, and that's understandable.
Especially Hawaii. You think about how few big cargo ships go between the mainland and Hawaii.
Yeah,
I would think
a lot going to Hawaii, not a lot coming back.
Right. Imagine how expensive it would be to ship. Beer is so expensive to ship because it's so heavy and delicate, right? So shipping it is insane. So making it stateside makes sense.
Yes.
But I also see where these people are coming from, where their marketing is so heavily Hawaiian beer that to make it stateside and not really make a big... So it says on the bottle where it's manufactured. It does say like Portsmouth or whatever. But their marketing is so heavily Hawaiian that I think the conclusion of this lawsuit was it was not sufficiently stated that this is not made in Hawaii. It's they hide it as
makes
best as they
sense, but it's kind of like it's kind of like splitting hairs at a certain point.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a lot of Japanese beer is like brewed in Canada, so it is like an import technically. But I mean, like
Not quite the same.
yeah.
But it's like brewed with the design of Japanese brewers, and it's brewed to Japanese specs. Maybe I don't know. Like,
yeah, it's splitting hairs.
I had something interesting to say, and I forgot what it was.
Oh no! You even have the Hawaiian shirt on, so I'm surprised you don't have more to say about this piece.
What's that song? Hanaluka way is the way to do. What is that song?
It's a Jimmy Buffett song about how to say Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
In Hawaiian.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
That
song.
That's anyways.
Good joke.
And my last piece, I just want to laugh at this with you guys. This is the LA Times posted this on April 23rd, 2019, the official domestic beer power rankings.
Whoa.
Domestic beer is a lot of breweries, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, this is just the big guys because there's no mention of even Sierra Nevada Pale Ale on this list.
Yikes.
But this is like this two-dimensional graph plotting these beers. And so the two axes are, along the x-axis is taste, good taste and worst taste. And along the y-axis is less chuggable, more chuggable. So you know where this is going.
Yikes.
Miller
Lite is the top.
I want to make it known that Miller High Life is the best rated beer on this list. And
you can stop there.
Bud Light Orange is the worst.
What?
And and it is worth mentioning that Rolling Rock is in third place.
Holy shit.
Stop it. Please stop it.
I was reading this and I was like, oh man, they're just like ranking shitty beers. Like, that's funny on its own. But then I started reading this and I'm like, this is the worst rating of shitty beers I've ever seen.
To be fair, we have a photo up of my dad chugging 2 Miller High Lifes in the fucking 70s.
Well,
so it's classic.
And these are way up
beer
on this list.
Yeah.
But
he's doing it right, I guess.
yeah, there's like a couple things in here where like Bud Light is ranked in the less chuggable, worse taste quadrant, which to me Bud Light has almost no flavor, but the flavor it has is like, I wouldn't call it bad, at least not on this scale, right?
At least chuggable to some
and
degree.
it's chuggable, so it's like completely opposite what it
Why
should
is that
be.
a metric? Why is chuggable? Why is chuggable the metric of, well, I can slam this beer. I don't want to taste this beer. I'll just fucking slam it.
To me, chuggability and taste would be what's the word? They'd be like
Correlated.
Yeah, correlated.
Yeah.
They'd have a direct correlation. And like,
I don't want to chug a shitty beer.
Yeah, like Jesus.
That seems awful.
Yeah. Part of me feels like they just kind of like, well, we got to make an article and we're just going to like
slow news day.
Throw all these darts at this board and make a graph.
Is this BuzzFeed?
This is the LA Times. This is like a respectable.
what like a board of beer tasters made?
Lucas Peterson.
Okay.
One. And he makes a point to say, for the purposes of these rankings, I have sampled and judged a large selection of popular domestic beers, and while I'm certainly not implying that any beers any of the beers listed below are watery or swill or bad in any sense of the word. I'll just say that the $22 Iron Fire Outcast Dead Imperial Red Ale you like so much will not be found within this article. So any
Thanks, dude.
any craft beer is $22, and that's not making the list.
Yeah. Those $1 bottles of Sierra Nevada, that's too much.
You know,
Yeah.
what do you want?
Too
You know?
craft. Too pricey.
Miller High Life. How are you going to argue against the champagne of beers?
Stop it. Stop it.
How
End me.
how
Oh
could
my
you
Kill me.
not
Kill me.
proclaim a beer with an elegantly sloped neck designed to resemble that of a champagne bottle and occasionally bedecked
What?
Oh my
with a
God.
gold foil to reinforce the point? The finest American beer in all the
I'm
land.
losing brain cells.
I-
Please
This,
stop.
beyond all, is
John,
the beer that
stop it.
says luxury,
Stop it. I'm in
affluence,
pain.
and effervescence.
He didn't even drink the damn thing. He's reviewing the bottle. Holy shit. Fucking hell.
That's all I had. I just wanted to make fun of that for a second.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, oh, man, you're about to get lit the fuck up.
You're like Charlie in the woods in Vietnam, dude. You're about to be lit the fuck up, dude.
Napalm.
All right, so normally after beer news, what do we do, guys?
Mystery beers.
Not-
Smoke a big one. What?
Not so today. For yesterday was Dark Sky Brewing's 4-year anniversary. They're like the biggest craft brewery. Well, I shouldn't say that. Our favorite craft brewery in Flagstaff. And to celebrate, they made 3 barrel-aged beers of varying styles, and we've got one of each. So instead of having 2 mystery beers in the next 2 episodes, we're going to do 2 of these large bombers today and then 1 next time, I think. So first off, what I have here is Into the Trees, which is their English-style barley wine, 14.1%. I won't describe it any more than that. We'll talk about it afterwards.
So Nick, you've tried all 3 of these, right, at the brewery? And
Just like the smallest
Okay.
sip.
interesting.
And
Jeremy?
you have tried none of them.
Also
Right,
sips. I did not buy any of these with the intention that I would be drinking them later. So
I'm going in here completely blind. You gotta make a slice.
I know.
You
I
need a
gotta
knife,
knife
buddy?
or something. These are all like
the dad
waxed.
maneuver of like everyone reaching into their left hand pocket.
It's not a knife.
That's a knife. This is a knife. That's a great movie, by the way. I still maintain that Crocodile Dundee is like one of my favorite movies from the
Can I
90s.
see your knife? We should review knives as Nick cuts.
Mine's
The
shit
wax
because I
off
haven't
it.
sharpened it in a long fucking
So
time.
so
That's a
Sean has a multi-tool, which I think is actually quite indicative of his character.
I have that multi-tool for 2 things. It's the pliers and the knife. That's all I need.
Nice, but it's still very like engineer student of you.
Yeah.
I quite like the pliers. I wish I probably need pliers more than I need a knife.
Right.
Yeah.
I just, yeah. Anyways, I'm not going to jerk the Leatherman off too hard.
Leatherman is good though.
Yeah. Their new stuff looks really cool. It's $140, so I'm probably not going to get one, but their new multi-tools are like magnetically, it's like magnets that hold the pliers closed.
Oh.
So you can just like flick them open like a butterfly knife. And then
That's a little much.
all of the tools are accessible from the outside with one hand, which is cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like pretty down for the new
I'm
thing.
sold.
Sounds like a beer.
If you want more, we have plenty more.
Oh
so
yeah, there's a
don't worry about it.
whole 22 ounces.
This is their 4th anniversary on May 3rd.
Yes.
Is that right? I went to their 3rd anniversary. It was on Cinco de Mayo, or they celebrated it on Cinco de Mayo, and it was First Friday as well. So it was like the trifecta of
3 different things going on in
and
this
it was
bar.
insanely busy. But
Well, they've kind of expanded recently. Now there's more room, but still pretty busy.
yeah, this smells boozy,
It is 14.1%. So,
gentlemen.
cheers.
Cheers.
That's sweet,
Yeah,
very sweet.
man. This is English style, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Less hoppy, more sweet, kind of
Yeah.
boozy.
kind of reminds me of the the potato stout potato porter or
We keep going back to
Smith.
the Sam Smith. We got to have a Sam Smith episode.
Yeah.
We're referencing them so much. We got to analyze if that was just a one-off or not.
This is pretty unique. I when I first smelt it before I even like drank it, I was like,
Before I dealt it.
this Jesus. This reminds me a little bit of like dog food or like being near a dog food factory. I don't want that to like, come off as a negative. It's just like
It's a positive.
yeah, okay.
Dog food. Who
soy
wouldn't love
sauce.
dog food? Yeah.
But this is
Cool.
really unique, and it's so sweet for
I almost kind of wish they had reeled it back a little bit from in the sweet sense. It's almost
yeah.
it's a little sweet to me for what it is.
It's almost like drinking a kind of like a mixed drink kind of feel because how boozy it is,
Yeah.
how sweet it is.
Should I describe how they
Sure.
they advertise this beer on the bottle? This is a quadruple oaked and triple barrel aged, fermented in oak, aged 12 months in Eagle Rare bourbon barrels, Breckenridge bourbon barrels, and cognac barrels, and then blended.
Wow.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's a lot of barrel taste.
Right.
I think the sweetness that you get is from the cognac.
Cognac.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of get on the exhale. I get some of that oaky stuff, kind of like the barrel things, but that cognac or whatever the sweet thing is, it's like syrup. Like it hits you.
Kind of a slightly fruity, like I imagine, like an orange liquor, like a kind of a fruity, but like a fermented fruity.
Yeah.
This is complex to high hell.
Yeah.
You do not.
Jesus.
I would be bereft to order this in 5 ounces at the bar. I would much prefer to come home and have 22 ounces of this and be able to like mull over it instead of like having this fucking atrocity of just complexity in 5 ounces. Like,
Well, and
I don't know.
especially in a crowded bar. Back to what I was saying with the Bigfoot. This is a beer I want to have in a quiet, where I'm one of 8 people in the bar, or I want to have this at home where I can sit in a comfortable chair and sip on it. And
I'm almost getting this like, I mean, it's a barley wine, but like I'm getting this cereal vibe from it on the aftertaste. Like I'm
I
kind
can see that.
I'm eating some kind of cereal product, and like, yeah, that exhale.
it's pretty boozy.
I get,
Yeah.
it's like a hot on your throat, right?
Yeah.
When you exhale, you get kind of a warm.
It's more complex than the other the barley wine style that
Oh,
Bigfoot.
for sure.
But
Yeah.
I'm having I really enjoy it, but I'm also really like, this is too much.
I don't know how to rate it.
yeah.
I have a hard time saying it's more complex than the last one. I think it's a bigger flavor than the last one.
Yeah, but I kind of want to change my answer. The other one was a bit of a roller coaster.
Cheating alert.
This is more of a I haven't rated it yet, Nick. But this is more of like a mystery beer, we're not gonna tell you what this is. I mean, they've told us what this is, but I still can't be like, are you sure? Like, it's just, I don't know.
I really think this is very similar to the last one, just much sweeter, and it feels like of course, the barley wine flavors have been like turned up to 11.
Unlike what we said about the last one, I would not give this to.
This is not a newbie booby beer.
I really have a massively hard time rating this.
It's kind of like it's like KBS forward, and then like if you just kind of like think about it for a minute, there's like so many things that aren't KBS about this, but that first sip is like.
As it's warming up, I'm getting more bourbon. I didn't get a lot of bourbon at first,
okay.
but now
Yeah.
I'm starting to get that, and I see exactly what you mean. It is very kind of that. If you cut this off after a half a second when you started drinking it, you would have no idea if this was a KBS or a barley wine.
I think I have a number, but I'd have to finish my glass.
Have fun chugging that. This is a chuggable beer. This is even above Rolling Rock, really.
This is not chuggable, therefore it's a 0.
I
right.
I don't want to be the outlier here, but I think this blows Miller Lite out of the water.
See, and I could see how an uneducated palate would say that. But I went to college, and in college, when I was a freshman,
yeah, Miller High Life,
and plus the bottle isn't shaped like a champagne glass, so
the neck is not delicately sloped.
What's the damn point? What are you gonna do as a journalist?
Slow news day.
Talk about beer. Talk about shitty beer.
Talk about beer, but I don't know anything about beer. But it seems to be in the news, so.
It seems to be what the young folk are talking about these days.
Here's what I did 30 years ago.
Now that Beer Right Back podcast, they know what they're talking about. Am I
Those
right?
are some educated folk.
Did I pour each of us a little bit too much?
This is a lot of beer. I was like, pour more. Like I want this, and then now I'm like, oh man. That's
when you poured it, I was like hell yeah, like kind of like a moderately full glass, and then I realized, oh yeah, it's like 14.5% or something, and I kind of got worried there, but
yeah.
Remember Evil Twin?
That was a day. What a day Evil Twin was.
The hens are cackling.
I mean, I have a number.
This is right on par with everything that Dark Sky does. It seems like they went for a barley wine. They're like, man, what if we just like threw this shit at bourbon barrels, see what happens? May not be the best thing, but damn, like I am proud that they chose to go this direction with this.
They threw it in bourbon barrels and then tried it, and they're like, this is good, but I've had this before, so let's put it in cognac barrels. And they taste it, they're like, that okay. Never had that before.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's interesting to have that angle because usually it's like a porter's like it's in a whiskey barrel, period.
Yeah,
right.
When like Dark Sky going the full like next level, just like we put it in like a whiskey barrel, a Scotch barrel, a cognac barrel,
blending that shit together.
Yeah. Woo.
Then I found a wine barrel on Craigslist. We poured it in that, and then we found an oil drum.
Well, this beer in particular.
What'd you give this, Jeremy?
I was thinking.
Hold on, wait! Don't soil my rating.
We can say it at the same time.
Oh no, I have to find mine though. I've got mine.
Jeremy?
77.
73.
70.
Whoa.
75-ish. 74.
74. Yeah. I really enjoy it. There's just it needs one more thing to put it over the edge into an 80, and it doesn't quite get
to
there.
me less sweet.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah, that's why I knocked it down from an 80. Yeah, 77 is just kind of like it's almost there, but it's also a little too one note. Just the sweet thing. I agree with you, but again, I'm rating things too high or something.
No, you rate them how you calls them how you sees them.
This is one of those episodes where I'm just kind of I'm losing it, man. Jesus.
This was like a light, refreshing episode
until
the beginning of this glass, and now it's just like
I mean, like
shit.
Because we had a 22 ounce bomber. This has probably been like the fullest my glass has been on this podcast,
and it's 15%.
And it's 50%.
Yeah,
it's about to be filled again.
Even Evil Twin that was 17% was only a 16 ounce can split three ways.
I'm not even going to wash our glasses because I think this is going to cancel out whatever flavors are.
But I'm at least going to like pour the detritus back onto the ground.
Or into my mouth.
Next up, our last beer of the night, we have Parts Unknown, which is a culinary exploration of imperial stouts from Dark Sky.
Run that by me one more time. That's a culinary exploration of stouts?
That's what it says in the bottle.
I'm down.
Wow.
It's sort of like you want to be like, man, your pinky is like very
that's
erect.
That's a pretty dickish way to explain a beer, right? I love Dark Sky, and if they call it that, they must be onto something. But what a fucking
Jesus. You know when like
just a little bit
when Adam is drinking and he like starts doing that shit, I'm like
shit.
Just like the like I don't know, like the rocking back and forth in his chair.
Yeah. Are you there?
I'm like almost there, guys.
So I'm not going to tell you what this is until we drink it.
It's got orange.
No, it doesn't, Sean. You haven't seen anything.
Who am I?
It's
Cheers.
only a culinary experience. Cheers.
Whoa.
There's, oh my god.
What the fuck is this beer? The only way I can describe that is if you like coated your tongue in like hand sanitizer and lit it on fire. That's what this beer tastes like.
Well, to me, the way I was going to describe it is like if you took all the like the
So what the fuck is that?
like the really like the stouty bits of a stout and like the kind of stuff that like turns people away from stouts and put it in like fucking pressed it into a fucking barrel,
like distilled it into this like syrup.
Oh god, yeah. And it's just like that. The
What is this?
The opacity on this is ridiculous, by the way.
Aged in Knob Creek barrels and sea salt barrels with orange zest and coca nibs.
Okay, I'm gonna call bullshit. Aged in sea salt barrels. They put salt in a barrel, and then they were like, "Oh, dude, what if we put a beer in that?" I don't doubt. I don't think they're lying on the label.
Yeah.
I just think that's retarded. that's kind of dumb.
Yeah, who did they contact? Like, do you have any sea salt barrels on you by any chance?
Not we put salt in this because that's
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah.
We put this in barrels that once contained a mineral.
I want to say I'm reading this wrong, but it says sea salt.
Sea salt barrels with orange zest and coca
Yeah.
nibs.
I
That's
guess.
it. I mean, it says it's
But like
It's
what it is on the tin.
It's like a psychopathic beer.
I can taste the sea salt, but like
Why?
sea salt barrels? Like what the fuck? Like what does that mean? Anyway,
It's at this point of the podcast I want to say we saved the best beer for last.
no.
This is like the most unique beer I've ever had in my life. I've never had anything like this before in my life.
This is this is definitely one of the like absolutely like fuck whatever conventions beer has had.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do
this thing
yeah. And this
Every
is that.
single sip is like,
different.
I think I know what I'm pretty sure I know what this beer tastes like. And
Hell
then I
no.
drink it and it's like, holy fuck. Like, this is not a beer. That's fucking insane.
Like I still don't know what like the like first part of this is. Middle ground is KBS, and then like the roller coaster down is sea salt, and it's like
yeah, I kind of get orange on the back end, like the very last.
if you held a gun to my head and told me like to say that there's orange in this, I'd hesitate because I can't.
Yeah,
I literally like what orange like.
I sort of get the same note that I got from Sidecar. It's like an orange peel.
sure.
Yeah.
I see that. There's a big sea salt flavor.
For sure.
They're not fucking around with the fucking sea salt barrel.
Oh my god.
Do they even transport sea salt in barrels? I kind of thought that would be in like
a box or a
Yeah.
like a canvas bag.
I don't know what vessel I imagine them transporting sea salt in. I kind of thought like dump trucks. I didn't think.
Yeah.
I didn't think they had wooden barrels.
hey Sean, do you know anything about desalinization?
I can solve the water crisis right now. Somebody. go on.
This is a psychopathic beer.
That's it. This doesn't make any sense. This doesn't exist outside of this bottle. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you had it last night. This doesn't exist except right there.
Well, wait. So Adam had this
Yeah.
last night. I don't remember having this. Like
Am I
hallucinating?
Take the smallest sip you possibly can. That's how much I had.
Tastes like a salty stout.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kinda-
Holy
it's-
shit. Yeah.
It's like almost worse.
I just drank seawater.
As somebody who drinks very small sips of my beer, that was disgusting
then when you
compared to
take
like a real drink.
That tastes like the brine at the bottom of like a canned
That's what-
food.
This is drinking like an oil spill.
Oh, fuck me, Jesus Christ!
That's insane.
If I was like the Roger Ebert of beer right now,
You would be coming in your pants.
This is 100.
straight 90, if not 100. But like,
But also
as,
at the
as,
same time,
as a layman, oh my god!
what is this?
Like,
This is the most confusing beer I've ever had.
I hesitate to call this a beer. I know Sean said that for the last one, and I disagreed with him. But oh my fucking god,
I mean, they named it right. Parts unknown.
That's insane.
this is like if you were trapped on an island and like
If you had to make beer, if you were like,
Coconut milk, some orange zest, and you're pissed.
you
this
found
is-
like some cocoa beans somewhere.
threw a couple of crab shells in there and
Yeah.
called it a day.
Yeah.
This is like the Robinson Crusoe of beer. Like,
the Robinson
I've-
Crusoe of beer.
I have fucking loved this beer. I have never had anything like this in my life.
I'm in a love-hate relationship with this
I
beer.
agree. Yeah.
I am not sure what to fucking give this number. Like, what number?
You guys aren't gonna like my rating.
You'd give the shit like a 90?
This is a 90 for me. This is my first 90, and I
Wow.
feel very comfortable saying that this is
I
my
mean,
first
if you're
90.
going to give something a 90, this is it.
That I've never had anything like
Nearly close.
even close. Yeah, this is leagues away from
Yeah.
anything.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. If this was the hill to die on for a 90, this
is a
this
good
would
hill.
be one of them. And this is one of the situations we actually speculated in like past episodes. Where like a dude made this in his garage, but he is also like a top expert brewer.
Yeah.
Of like in like you found in like Canada, and you just like ran across him, and he just like, hey, try out my beer that I'm making. This would be one of them.
Yeah,
This
and you're
is a
like,
90. Ah! Yeah.
One of my friends has a new kitten in the house. This new kitten is...
Who?
is
And why haven't I been there?
This kitten is like learning the world for the new time, and so they're like, you just watch this kitten, and they're like staring at a lamp or a moving fan,
Yeah.
and like their eyes are just wide. Like, what the fuck
That's
is
how I
happening?
feel about this beer.
I am that kitten, and the fan is the beer.
That's perfect. That's exactly this. It's like,
I don't know if I like it.
oh my god,
What is happening right now?
this is the best thing I've ever had, or I'm gonna die.
Right, exactly.
This is like one step away from like absinthe. Like
I'm having like a third eye experience drinking this beer.
everything I knew about beer is wrong. Like that. Well, okay, maybe not that, but like, everything that I thought beer could be and could possibly be in the next 500 years is being reevaluated.
Half of this left.
That's an insane beer.
The-
I'm not driving
the-
home.
I could walk home and then like wake up the next day and be like, how the fuck did I get home? This is one of those beers. Maybe because I've been drinking a lot now, but like this is insane.
It's insane.
What a good combination of boozy and chocolate and orange and
Salt.
apparently salt. Like, I didn't think salt was going to be a part of that equation, but
It's very salty. It's
And
on
you
the border
think-
of too much salt.
yeah, exactly. You think like if you told me there was going to be this much salt in an imperial stout with orange, I would have told you you're fucking insane. But that is out of this world. That's ridiculous.
I can't finish this.
I will happily finish this.
Okay.
Like, that's insane.
It may not be my favorite beer of all time.
Yeah.
But it is so different and out of the realm of anything that I've ever had that I have to give it a very high rating.
Yeah.
It's really good.
What?
I would have a pint of this.
Whoa.
And then pass
die.
out.
Yeah, that's the one beer I have.
Sean, what's an irrational number that starts with 80?
Pi times like 2.5 or something times 10. So pi times like 25 or something.
That at 100. Like I it's just like this is beyond description. This is insanity.
Agreed. Given that, I do have an integer number as a rating. So
It is a rational repeating
whole
decimal
number. Yeah. I give this beer an 82.
Wow. Okay. Can I say mine?
Yeah.
I was gonna give this like this is an 83.333 repeating.
which is rational.
Yeah.
But not
Because of what you said.
I was off by a little bit, so pi times 25 is approximately 78.5.
Wow.
But a
Sure.
little higher than that.
Yeah, 83.33.
You're going to give this beer a 90, aren't you?
This is a 90. I can't believe I'm rating a beer a 90. I thought I was going to be a dick through this entire podcast. This is a 90 if I've ever
I mean,
had a
like,
90.
if I, like, out of all the beers, like, if I had to, like, select all the beers we've had, and then, like, one of these has to be 90, it'd be this one, because this is so unique. This is so experimental.
Right.
But yet also good that, like, holy shit. This is insanity.
So this makes the wall.
This makes the wall.
Two in an episode.
Fuck.
That's insane. Anyway, I'm gonna stop saying that's insane.
I've also
Right.
been
It's
saying
pretty
it's
good.
insane.
Psychopathic is the right word for this beer.
So what's that? What's a 99? Like what
Soul
galaxy?
Ascension.
Galaxy brain?
I'm waiting for my mind to be fucking blown by a beer. Like
Okay.
I have to be like,
If we ever have a plus 90 on this episode, I will shit my pants. We will be ordering that beer pronto
right.
in whatever largest quantity they have. If they have a keg of that, I'm
Yeah.
taking it.
What 100 is
Unattainable.
Godly.
You just ejaculate.
That's
Like that's but that has to be it, right? Like there's no
And 0 has to be death.
yeah. Because
Right.
that for all beers to fit in the spectrum, like that has to be it has to get almost exponentially harder to become a 100
Yeah.
as you progress from a 40 or whatever.
That's kind of how like a bell curve works, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, where like 0.17% lives in the 90s or
Yeah.
something.
Well, so that's it. Finish our 2 quote-unquote mystery beers, both from Dark Sky.
Next week, we're going to be going to Wanderlust, actually, and talking with their head brewer and owner about the brewing process. And we're going to have a couple of beers with him, have a couple of his beers with him, and then we'll test him on some mystery beer knowledge. So stay tuned for that next week.
So stay tuned. This has been Be Right Back, the Lounge Beer Podcast.